Good morning, DES. Welcome to a great broadcast of TNN Tiger News Network. I'm Destiny Brown.
And I'm Sarah Jackson.
We have another great broadcast for y'all today. As you can see, we are on location at Keebler Park.
Now straight to lunch with Susanna Wingard.
I think it's time to get some lunch. It's time for lunch. It's time to munch, crunch, eat a bunch. It's time for lunch, not brunch. I'm starving. Lunch. It's time for lunch. It's time to munch, crunch, eat a bunch. It's time for lunch, not brunch. Eat some cheese, peas, broccoli.
Good morning, Dale Elementary School. My name is Susanna Wingard, and today I'm going to be doing the lunch. Today we're going to be having a barbecue sandwich, corn on the cob, French fries, sherbet, and as always, fruit and fruit juice, and your choice of milk.
Thank you, Susanna, for that great lunch. Now on to whether we leave our children.
Good morning, DS. My name is Levi Childers, and I do the weather for you today. The weather for today is high 76 and low 54, and it's going to be sunny and 0% chance of rain. Now back over to Sarah and Destiny.
Thank you, Levi, for that wonderful weather report. Now to an interview with Miss Porter, and we're going to talk to her about things that are going on at Keebler Park.
Thank you, Ms. Porter, for coming on the show with us. So we have a few questions.
Okay.
Okay, so who founded the park?
Well, the park was founded, I believe they started in 1999, and part of it, the playground, may have been a little bit sooner in 1998. The property was donated to the city, and the city thought, what a great place for a park. And so they raised the money for Keebler Park, put it in, and took a bulldozer through here and did the walking path and paved it, and we have a park. Keebler Park, it is part of Dadeville Parks and Recreation. It is a place for families to come. It's a place for families to bring their children to play in the playground, and it's a place to come and walk. You can use the park and you can look for wildlife. You can also use the park for health and wellness. A lot of people come, you might see some in the park today, that are walking for health. This trail is a half a mile from here all the way around to the end. So people, it's easy to pace yourself. You can do 1 mile, 2 miles, or a half a mile. People bring their kids in bicycles as well.
What upcoming events or exciting things are going to be happening?
We will next spring. Let me back up just a little bit. What we'll do during the winter in the park is we get the park ready for the spring. And this spring we will have an Earth Day celebration, and it will be in April, and it's the second or third weekend. I don't have the dates quite set on the Earth Day celebration. We had one last year with great success. We had about 125, 150 people attend, and there was also a ball game going on at the same time. So we plan to do that again this year. We also will plan to do scarecrows in the park again next year as well. And we're always looking for suggestions from the community about what they would like to see in the park as well.
How did you get involved with the park?
I came and walked through the park last year in the spring. And I walked through the park and thought, what a great park. And I saw a lot of potential. It had good bones, and we weren't taking full advantage of the park as a community. And so I put a plan together, a plan of action together for the park, just a few quick things that we could do. And I talked with Brownie Caldwell. She's the city councilman for this area. And then I talked to Parks and Rec, and they had no plans for the park. So I went to city council, and they gave us approval to start doing some things in the park. And the first thing we did in the park was we've been trying to slow down the water that runs through the park because we have a stormwater problem, and we've done that. And we've also, with the high school, I've gotten the high school involved, and last year we put in a rain garden, which we'll tour in a little bit. And now we're also working on a tree trail and that should be completed by the end of November, the trail should.
I heard you say something about scarecrows. So when did y'all start doing that?
We started doing that. This is our first year doing scarecrows in the park. And the idea is not my original idea. I copied it from Huntsville Botanical Gardens and also Dothan Botanical Gardens. Huntsville has a very successful scarecrows in the park, and theirs runs a month. All the scarecrows are in 1st of October and out by the 1st of November. The same with Dothan Botanical Gardens. And Dothan Botanical Gardens was cooperated. I went down there and they shared all of their information with us. And next year we'll do it again, and I'm sure with greater participation than we had this year.
Do y'all have like certain hours that like the trails are open, or does it like close at a certain
We
time?
do. You're correct. Yes, we do. The park opens at dawn and closes at dusk, which will vary during the year depending on summer. The hours are longer, and in the wintertime the hours will be shorter.
Well, thank you for coming on the show, and it was really exciting to talk to you. Can you take us on a tour of this exciting place?
Absolutely. Let's go.
I'm Luke, and we're touring the park right now. I just have a couple of questions about where we're at right now. What is this part of the park?
This area of the park is the rain garden / pollinator garden. And we started this last November. We put it in, so we've had it here for a year. And we've started planting it. It takes a number of years to get the plants put in for the butterflies and for the birds. Also, this garden also has another purpose, and that's it is called a rain garden. It's to control some of the runoff that does go through the park.
So do you know a couple of these different kinds of flowers over here that's been planted at all?
I sure do. The ones that are blooming right now are lantana. The red ones and the yellow ones are called lantana. And if you can see, we do have a visitor. We do have a butterfly visiting, a sulfur butterfly visiting one of the lantanas over there. And during the summer, we did have some monarchs visit, and we had some swallowtails visit us as well. It's getting a little cooler, so you'll see less of them. We also have some grasses planted that the butterflies and the bugs, we have to remember about beneficial insects. This is also planted for beneficial insects as well. So we have coneflower, we have swamp sunflower, and our grasses, and we have black-eyed Susans as well.
What about that butterfly over there that's
The big butterfly, the huge big butterfly,
Yes.
really large butterfly that was donated to us by a lady in Dadeville. Her son-in-law makes them. They were featured at Huntsville Botanical Gardens and also in Selma. Okay, so we had a design contest last year, and the lady who donated the butterfly chose the winner, and this is the winning design. It was a girl in Beta Club, Autumn, and this is her design. We just installed it about a month ago. What we have here is a whole bunch of, we've got a larger tree on the bottom and the sticks all piled on top, and what we're doing is creating habitat. And what we're creating habitat for, we're creating it for birds. And that's a hiding places, and birds can even nest in there. We're also creating habitat for insects and for reptiles. And what will happen is in about 3 years, this whole thing will probably decay. And in its place, should be wildflowers, and there can be grasses that grow in this. But while it's decaying, we have lots of wildlife activity in here. And as Coach Talbert had said when we came up here and looked at this place, he said, if the sign wasn't here, I would just think it's a pile of old dead sticks just piled up there. But it is a habitat for a lot of animals and a lot of reptiles in our park.
What kind of mammals do you think live in here?
You know what? The main one is chipmunks.
I kind of was guessing because of the picture right here.
Yeah, the chipmunks, they love these kind of places because they can get away from the cats that frequent the park.
Well, we are coming to the end of this tour. I hate for it to be the end. And we've seen a lot of amazing things like the butterfly garden and the habitats and stuff like that.
We saw pretty trees and like animals that like lay their eggs there and like have their babies born there, and it was just really cool to see things that I didn't even know were in the park. And
And we want to thank you, Miss Porter.
You're welcome.
Would you like to say anything to the camera, like to add anything?
You know, I would. And one thing that I forgot to add when we were interviewing earlier is that the habitat creation that you see in the park, the pollinator garden with the butterfly, was all possible because of students at your school that came and helped. We have work groups that come into the park that are students, and it's amazing whenever 5 or 6 students come out how much work we can actually accomplish in the park. But they've built all the new habitats. We have about 5 or 6 of the habitats that you saw. The students, like I said, they went to a rain garden workshop and they installed the rain garden. And they have also planted the plants there. So I just wanted to add that so that students get the credit for making this park becoming possible. Thank you.
well, that brings us to the end of another great broadcast of TNN Tiger News Network. I hope y'all can make it out one day to Keebler Park and to tour the trails and look at all the fascinating things here. And as we always say,
Have a great day or not, the choice is yours.